Swasthasya swasthya rakshanam aturasya vikar prashamanam. This crisp shlok summarizes the two primary aims of Ayurveda, the science of life. First, to preserve the health of those who are healthy, and second, to heal the sickness of those who are diseased. As is obvious, Ayurveda emphasizes a lot on the preservation of good health. Rather than focusing more on healing those who are sick, the primary objective, the first goal of Ayurveda is to ensure that everybody leads their life in such a way that sickness stays far away from them. It is therefore not a surprise that along with underscoring the requirements that one needs to fulfill to lead a healthy life are elaborately explained in all the classical texts of Ayurveda. How one should be behaving in accordance with Dincharya or the daily circadian rhythm, how one should behave in accordance with the changing seasons or Ritucharya. All this information is nicely documented and available at our disposal. Along with this, Ayurveda emphasizes a lot on purification or cleansing techniques. It is very obvious that just like we need to clean our entire body and we take great pains, devote time, also spend money in ensuring that we look great from the outside, similarly, we also need to make sure that we cleanse the body from time to time from within. Shatakriya or Shatakarma are purification practices that are given a lot of importance in maintaining holistic health. Let us take the example of Shankh Prakshalan. Shankh Prakshalan is a cleansing technique that is recommended for everybody at least once in 6 months. The word Shankh literally means conch. In Ayurvedic parlance, it also refers to the alimentary canal or the GI or gastrointestinal tract, meaning the area from the mouth up to the anus. We know that our intestines are about 22 feet long, the size of a cricket pitch. But unlike a cricket pitch, it is not a straight line. The intestines are curved and have a lot of folds within them. And as we know, it is very easy for dirt, toxins, mucus, a lot of waste particles to get accumulated in corners and small nooks and crannies. That is why Ayurveda emphasizes on the need for practicing Shankh Prakshalan every 6 months. Shankh, like I said, means conch, which we know is spiral in nature. And if you pour water in a conch, it will come out clean. But if you pour water, shut the mouth of the conch and you give it a nice shake, and then you allow that water to release, you will see the dirt particles from the folds, this time leaving the shankh. Similarly, the GI tract has a lot of folds which need to be cleaned, which are not cleaned just because we've passed motion every day. They need to be cleaned in a certain way, and hence Prakshalan. Prakshalan means washing away. So Shankh Prakshalan essentially means washing away of the intestines, the GI tract to be specific. Let's look at some of the key benefits of practicing Shankh Prakshalan on a regular basis. We do know that digestion is actually a 5-step process. First, we consume food, which is ingestion. Then the body works towards digesting the food. After digestion, the body again works towards absorbing the nutrients from the food and then assimilating it and diverting it to various body parts, organs, etc. The last and very important step is that of excretion, so that all the waste particles from the food that has not been digested, toxins, etc., get released from the body. However, no matter how clean we eat, no matter how well we conduct ourselves, the body is going to accumulate some toxins over a period of time. And if these toxins are not cleared out, there is a huge possibility that they get condensed, they get stuck to the lining of the intestines. Easy to understand then that this is going to hamper the entire process of digestion. And if we cannot digest well, then we are not going to go through the other steps of digestion completely, which is not only going to make us deficient in nutrients, it is going to affect entire quality of life. It is going to affect the way we feel hunger, the way we stop ourselves when we are hungry or when we are full. It also affects the quality of our sleep. It affects our thinking process. It also affects our mood and emotions. Which is why Shankh Prakshalan has a whole lot of benefits across the entire working mechanism of a human being. When we practice Shankh Prakshalan and the intestines are completely clean, then it is possible to not only relieve ourselves from a lot of troubles that we may be undergoing, but also to prevent them from occurring in the future. For example, these days, due to hectic lifestyles, due to wrong or faulty eating habits, due to stressors, due to poor quality of sleep, stress wreaks havoc with our digestion. Stress is one of the key reasons because of which our digestion does not really get complete, and that results in the accumulation of ama or toxins in the body. It is therefore important to clean these. After the practice of Shankh Prakshalan, the intestines are completely cleansed. Even the tiniest of food particles that may be stuck to them are evacuated from the body. Results: decreased instances of acidity, constipation, gastric issues in general. People with inflammation, that is the cause of several lifestyle disorders as well, also will feel relieved from inflammation, will have a better, calmer disposition because there is a deep gut-brain connection. People who feel nausea, who feel heartburn, who feel bloating and flatulence, who find it difficult to evacuate, who find it difficult to excrete on a regular basis, or find a lot of trouble while excretion, also feel a lot of relief. A lot of toxins from the organs, from the intestines, from the blood is let out from the body during the practice of Shankh Prakshalan. Overall, for those who experience that the digestive fire has gone down, Agni, which has to lead the process of digestion, if it becomes mand or if it becomes dull or mild, then one does not experience hunger the way it is meant to be. The process of digestion is anyway compromised, and obviously the whole cycle is going to get upset. This also leads to an imbalance of doshas. And when doshas get imbalanced, then one of the two doshas, one of the three doshas may get vitiated, and people might suffer from the ill consequences of that imbalance. Hormonal harmony is very important for every human being. Practicing Shankh Prakshalan cleanses such an important system of the body that it ensures and it gives the body a chance to reboot, so that whatever imbalance there might be within the body can be addressed in a holistic manner. As beneficial as Shankh Prakshalan is, there are contraindications that one needs to keep in mind because there are certain conditions and environments during which Shankh Prakshalan is to be avoided. For example, menstruating women and pregnant women should not be practicing Shankh Prakshalan. Couples who want to conceive a child are definitely recommended to practice this as part of Deha Shuddhi, so that the child that they conceive also comes within a clean environment. However, if a woman has just had an ovulation cycle and she has already tried to conceive, then in that case she should be avoiding Shankh Prakshalan and wait for the next cycle, so that in case she is not conceived by then, she can practice this and prepare her womb and a cleaner environment to welcome her child. Those who have ulcers, those who have hernia, those who have had any severe gastric surgery or procedure and who have not fully healed yet, any sort of surgery involving the whole GI tract and they are yet to recover, are definitely advised not to practice Shankh Prakshalan till they fully recover and their issues have been addressed. Those who are prone to very high or very low blood pressure, those with cardiac concerns of a serious nature, and those who are in a position where they tend to lose consciousness for whatever reason, are also advised to refrain from Shankh Prakshalan. Those who have epilepsy or get seizures should be avoiding Shankh Prakshalan as well. Ayurveda has also specified the seasons during which Shankh Prakshalan is best practiced. With every changing season, it becomes important to evacuate the body of all the toxins that the previous season may have brought in. This way, we make sure that the body is purified and ready to take on whatever change nature brings in. Rainy season is a good time to practice because that way, the toxins accumulated from the summer can all be eliminated from the body. Another good time is after the cold season or the winter's end and before the next season sets in. Irrespective of the time of the year being right, If somebody is experiencing loose motion kind of symptoms at the time, then Shankh Prakshalan is best avoided. Since Shankh Prakshalan is an elaborate cleansing of the entire GI tract, a lot of care has to be exercised before and after practicing Shankh Prakshalan. The night before you are going to practice Shankh Prakshalan, it is recommended that one has a light, easily digestible meal. Anything that is going to exert the digestive system is definitely to be avoided on the eve of practicing Shankh Prakshalan. Shankh Prakshalan is always to be practiced first thing in the morning. It is ideal if one has already had bowel movement in the morning, but even if one hasn't, one can continue and go ahead practicing Shankh Prakshalan. A lot of water is required because water is the medium through which we are going to wash out all the toxins from the intestines. Per individual, about 3 to 5 liters of water is easily required. It is important that this water is lukewarm. It is kept ready before you start practicing. For every liter of water, it is recommended that one adds 2 teaspoons of salt of your choice for practicing Shankh Prakshalan. Those with high blood pressure may want to refrain from using salt or using very little of it. Another alternative is to use some lemon juice and letting go of the salt altogether. This water has to be had periodically, and a set of 5 asanas are to be practiced, which you must definitely ensure that you practice under the supervision of a yoga instructor. This will make sure that even if you have some questions or some symptoms that you're not comfortable with at the time of practice, you will have somebody answering them for you at the right time. Ayurveda has also specified the care that one should be taking before and after practicing Shankh Prakshalan. Since Shankh Prakshalan is to be practiced first thing in the morning always, the way one conducts oneself the previous evening also has a bearing on how effective and how easy Shankh Prakshalan can be. It is recommended that the previous night one completes the dinner early. Ideally goes to bed also early so that the next morning one can be fresh and there should not be any extra load on the system. It is best to have a homemade, easily digestible, light kind of meal rather than having a heavy meal which is very high on calories. This will only make the digestive system very taxed, and it can also have some side effects the next day during the practice and after the practice of Shankh Prakshalan. After Shankh Prakshalan, it is recommended that one should not eat anything for the next 2 hours. After Shankh Prakshalan, it is recommended that one should not eat anything for the next 2 hours. The system needs time to recover from what it has just undergone, and we need to give it that much recovery time. At the same time, it does not mean that one should go back to sleep. Sleeping for 3 hours after Shankh Prakshalan can sap the body further of energy, make one feel very low physically, mentally and emotionally, and it can also trigger headaches. That is why if one must sleep, at least 3 hours should pass after Shankh Prakshalan before one goes to sleep, and that too not for very long. The meal to be had after Shankh Prakshalan, the first meal, should happen 2 hours after Shankh Prakshalan has been completed. This meal has to be that of homemade khichdi. Whatever rice you use usually to make khichdi, along with that, either the skinned moong dal or the peeled moong dal, either of the 2 varieties work, and also at least 2 teaspoons preferably of homemade ghee made from that of cow's cream. तो अगर आपके पास में घर में बना हुआ गाय के दूध की मलाई का निकाला हुआ घी है, that is the ideal one. Otherwise, whatever pure form of ghee you can use, please use that. It is recommended that one lets go of salt in that khichdi because already with that water used for Shankh Prakshalan, a lot of salt has been consumed. So rice, moong dal, either the green one with the skin or the yellow one without the skin, and some ghee. After Shankh Prakshalan, one's intestines are as good as that of a newborn baby's, which is why we need to exercise a lot of care and caution in making sure that we eat right for a few days after Shankh Prakshalan. Very important is to have the first meal of homemade khichdi 2 hours after Shankh Prakshalan and the next round of khichdi 6 hours after the first one.